Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 best siege weapon civilizations in Age of Empires 2. Now, spoiler alert, I've got like 8 civilizations in the honorable mention that just didn't quite make the list. So I could have made this a top 10 list, but I'm going to stick with the top 5. And if your civ didn't make the top 5 list, it's probably in the honorable mention, the civ you're thinking about. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right in. It's going to be a decently long video, so I don't want to waste any time and start at number 5. Alright, starting things off at number 5, we've got the Bohemians. Now, the Bohemians might have been expected to make the list and maybe even higher up on the list, but honestly, the Bohemians only have one trick up their sleeve, which is the Bombard Cannon upgraded to the Hoofnets, which is, it's not a bad trick. So, generally speaking, the Bombard Cannon, very powerful siege weapon. Available in the Imperial Age, it's the most expensive unit in the game, and on top of that, it's locked behind chemistry. So, you need Imperial Age plus chemistry to access the Bombard Cannon. So, it's a very late game oriented siege weapon, and then the Bohemians on top of that have an upgrade for the most expensive siege unit in the game, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But on top of all that, they've also got the unique tech in Castle Age that makes the gunpowder units move 20% faster. And so all in all, you've got a stronger bomber cannon, the Hoofnets, that also moves 20% faster. You can see how that gets out of hand very quickly. They also have Siege Engineer and Heavy Scorpion. So even if the Hoofnets is not doing enough on its own, you can mix in Heavy Scorpion to pack a little bit more of a punch against those stray units like halberdiers running at you like zombies in Call of Duty. So Bohemians pretty strong at number 5. Very staple siege civ at this point in time. Moving on to number 4, this is a civilization that people might have not expected to see, but I think they've got a single tool that carries them so hard. And it's a very practical tool, and it's a very hard to play against tool, and that is, of course, the Koreans. The tool I'm talking about is the 10 range siege onagers. These used to be at 11 range, I believe, and someone even told me at 12 range way back in the day, but I can't verify that. Right now, though, they currently stand at 10 range, one range coming from Siege Engineer, and the other range coming from a unique tech. And so the Korean siege onagers at 8+2 range, absolutely deadly. They snipe armies from just miles away, and they're only really weak to like bomber cannon. They outrange Arbalest, they outrange all kinds of CA, and of course they naturally pack a very big punch. On top of that though, Koreans do get bomber cannons, so it's not like they're only relying on the siege onagers, but aside from that, they don't have that much else going for them. So heavily carried by the siege onagers, but it's such a good unit in a practical sense. Imagine in a team game where there's a lot of units on the field, it's hard to dodge onager shots from 10 range away. You're not really looking that far forward to see them coming, and so it's very easy to, lose a lot of armies to these Korean SO, and it's one of the hardest units to counter in that late game 4v4 mess that I was talking about. And of course, even in the practical sense in a 1v1, for example, Korean SO still could dominate quite hard if you get there. Moving on to number 3, we've got one of the most OG civilizations in the game, and it's going to be the Celts. A lot of you guys probably expected this to be higher, but I don't think it deserves higher simply because it lacks the bomber cannon. That is the one downside to the Celts. Everything else is miles ahead. It's very good. They've got some of the best siege in Castle Age, in fact. The attacking faster applies to rams, scorpions, and mangonels alike. And then as far as their imp tree, they've got everything. They've got heavy scorpion, siege ram, siege onagers. They've also got the unique tech giving them extra HP, which is pretty damn strong. And on top of that, the faster firing bonus that helps throughout the entire game. Celts are amazing. They're literally great. It's just they don't have bomber cannon, and there's just a couple civs that are slightly better than Celts in the siege world departments. However, if you make an argument for Celts being higher up on the list, I think you have a lot of merit to that. So I'll leave this up to interpretation from the viewers and from the chatters here. So if you guys disagree, that's totally fine. But moving on to number 2, you might accept my reasoning on this one. We've got the Mongols. Again, this civilization could be argued for number 1, could be argued for a little bit lower, but Mongols have one of the best and most practical unique techs for siege weapons, and that is faster moving siege weapons from the Golden Crown. Now, the reason why faster moving siege weapons are so insane is because if you think about what a siege onager or a heavy scorpion or a siege ram lack, it's strictly the movement. They're slow, they're sluggish, and they're awkward to move around. They pack a punch, they have a lot of damage, they have good range, they have good fire rates. The only downside to siege units is the fact that they are slow, and Mongols fixes that completely. The fast siege onager are so easy to micro, and they have such a high ceiling as well. Like if you're a good player with Mongol siege onager, you can do so many good plays. You can like protect them very easily. It's such a strong and oppressive late game civilization when it comes to siege. They got heavy scorpion, they got siege ram, of course got siege engineer. Mongols late game with the siege, absolutely wild, and again only being held back because of the lack of bomber cannon. Number 1 has bomber cannon. That's the only hit I'm giving you. But first, let's talk about some honorable mentions. As stated at the beginning, I've got a lot of honorable mentions. I should have made this a top 10 list, but it is what it is. So to start things off, we've got the Bulgarians. Actually, let me just split up the honorable mentions. We got 3 or 4 civilizations that are just like generically good, and we got 3 civilizations that have something unique about them in the siege weapon department. So for the 4 civilizations that are overall good, you got Bulgarians, discount on siege, heavy scorpion, siege ram, and siege onager. Can't really go wrong. Discount on the upgrades for the siege. And then we've got Slavs. Slavs are pretty solid. You got everything you need except bomber cannon, and you also get a discount on all siege weapons, and that's a pretty solid bonus. Then you got the Teutons, which have a good amount of options from the siege workshop, and you also have bomber cannon, which is nice. And on top of that, the ironclad unique tech that gives melee armor to those siege workshop siege weapons. So super solid, again, well-rounded. And then lastly of this category, we've got the Saracens. Saracens have a full-out tech tree, including bomber cannon. They got siege engineers, super solid, and they also get the unique tech that makes their Mangonel line and the Treb line do more damage. Again, the reason why this isn't as good as the movement speed from Mongols is because it's kind of like a win more tech. Siege weapons already do a massive amount of damage. Getting an upgrade that makes them do more damage can sometimes be seen as overkill, and I feel like it's good, but it's not great. I feel like covering a weakness of the siege weapon with unique tech is worth way more than just doubling down on its strength. All right, now I got 3 more civilizations. Sorry, I lied. 4 more civilizations that have a specific siege weapon that is just completely unique. Like in a specific scenario, this could be the best siege civilization, and this one tool carries them. So starting things off, we got Britons. Warwolf Trebs are broken. Like they're so good. In the right situation, it's clearly like the best siege weapon. Nothing can match it in the right situation. Then we got Turks with the bomber cannon. 14 range cannons might be the best cannons in the game. Might be slightly better than Bohemians. You can make an argument. In the right situation, Turks come in clutch. They also get free chemistry, which helps you transition into them, and more HP on those cannons. So they're really close. But of course, this is not a bomber cannon siege weapon list. This is a total siege weapon list, and Turks are lacking onager, which is a very big hit to the siege workshop lineup. Then we got the Tatars. The Tatars have 19 ranged trebuchets. Again, in the right situation, 19 ranged trebs could be the best siege weapon in the game. So definitely worth an honorable mention. And then lastly, shout out Spirit of the Law. We got the Japanese. Faster packing and faster firing trebs are insane. Also, I think we're not there yet. Maybe in 2030 when AI have taken over, we're going to have Japanese players take 10 trebs, shoot, unpack, microback, shoot, unpack, etc. Like, I think Japanese trebs are not being used to their full potential, and I think we could see some insane plays with them in the next few years as players start or continue to get better at the game. It's one of the units that has so much potential, it's just hard to use because unpacking and repacking is a clunky mechanic. Alright, finally the moment we've all been waiting for. We've got the #1, in my opinion, best siege weapon civilization in the game, and that is, comment below if you can guess what it is. No cheating. I'd be curious to see if you guys can guess. I think you should be able to. #1 best siege civ in the game, Ethiopians. Ethiopians rose to the top. They won my heart in the last couple of years when it comes to siege. They are so good. They have a stacked out tech tree. Bomber cannon, siege ram, siege onager, heavy scorpion. Insane. And on top of that, the torsion engines is an insane unique tech. Like, it's so good. It got a buff recently, or a couple of years ago, I think. That's recent in the Age of Empires realm, where they just give heavy scorpions a bit more splash damage, and they're just crazy. Heavy scorpions with splash damage, insane. Siege onager with splash damage, some of the craziest shots in the game can come from that. Bomber cannon with extra splash damage, it makes it like an onager from 13 range away. Crazy. And then siege ram with... Does the splash damage affect siege ram? I have no idea. Let's pretend it does. Siege ram with torsion engines, crazy as well. Actually, I have no idea if it affects it, but nonetheless, Ethiopians are still top tier. Torsion engine just makes it just so oppressive. The siege is so oppressive, and in my opinion, it's just, yeah, it's just absolutely golden when it comes to late game siege. And the only reason you can say Ethiopian might not be #1 is because their bonus only kicks in Imperial Age. So up till then, they're not as strong as the Celts, for example, maybe like not as strong as the Slavs, but in Imperial Age, they've got all the tools to make them the absolute #1 best civ in the game when it comes to siege weapons. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it to help the algorithm and let more Age of Empires fans watch them. We love this game. Take care, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace, stay safe, later.